The document, as we can see, is currently just plain text, really. We haven't formatted it in any way. It's in paragraphs. It looks like it's got headings and things like that. So it's quite plain, and what we want to do is we want to try and make the document look a lot better. Now, what we could do is we could use, for instance, bold or italics or underline. But Microsoft Word has itself these styles, these different styles, and it's good to use them at times for certain things. So for instance, here we're going to highlight access networks, and we're going to look at the styles. Now, as I roll over the top of the style, you should see it changing. Okay, so there's different styles and a title style, etc. So we're just going to pick heading 1 for just now. So we click on that, and that's it selected. And again, with the next one down, we're going to select the topic access networks. Now, rather than that being heading 1, it's more of a subheading, so we'll go for heading 2. Okay, now that's that selected and done, and we can see that it goes a kind of blue colour, nice blue colour, different shade. Now, the other thing that we want to do is we want to have a look at the spacing between all of our paragraphs. So if we highlight this paragraph here, you'll notice that in at this area here there seems to be a gap. Okay, now to access that, if we go to here and we click on the paragraph tab, okay, I'll just drag that into shot, you'll notice that in the spacing we have what's called 6 points after. Okay, and all that does is it just means that there is a 6-point gap between the next paragraph. Now, for this particular paragraph, it looks like it's quite tight against where it says access networks. So what we'll do is we'll add a before to it. We can add a before of 6 points or 12 points. Now, you might have noticed that in this area here, as I added the point spacing, it changed the gap. If I take it away, you might see that again. It's very faint, but you can maybe just about see it. So we'll make that 12 point for this paragraph only. Now, notice as well that the line spacing here is single spacing. There are a number of different line spacings that you can choose, but my own personal preference is to stick to single spacing. However, when you're formatting a document, sometimes you will be given a set specification that you have to follow, and it's always a good idea to check that specification before you start and lay out your document properly. But at the moment we'll keep it at single spacing. Notice as well we also have the ability to change the indentation. Now, the indentation, if we change say the left indentation, as we increase it, you should see again in the preview window down here, you should see that there's now a gap, an indentation. It's been pushed in a wee bit in towards your document. Put that back to 0 because we don't really want an indentation. And you can do the same on the right hand side. You can also tick this box here to mirror the indents. Okay, so if we look in the general area here, the alignment, the current alignment for this paragraph is to the left hand side. We can see that up here as well. This is highlighted, this box, so it's to the left hand side, and the outline level is currently body text. Okay, now outlines are not something that we're going to cover, but needless to say, we've got heading 1, heading 2 and outline text. Okay, so one other thing to have a look at is under line and page breaks. One of the things that we want to make sure that we've got ticked here is widow and orphan control. If you tick widow and orphan control, if you've got a paragraph heading, as we have here, which is level 2, should you come to the end of the page and there's not enough room for all of your text and your heading, Word will automatically keep them both together and put them on the new page, and this way you don't lose either the text from the heading or the heading from the text, hence the idea of widow and orphan. Okay, so hopefully that's explained a couple of things there, and we'll click OK just in order to see that in action. So when we click OK, we should see that our box changes here, and now we've got that 18-point gap. Now the great thing about using the before and after for each paragraph is the fact that you don't have to hit the return key, because when you hit the return key, you're simply putting in another line break. Okay, and depending on the setup, it may be that when this document transfers from your machine to someone else's machine, that those line breaks don't look the same, and the formatting of your document will be lost. So it's always a good idea just to keep these things together.